Buenos días, Israel Torres con el noticiero y el vocero de Caribbean American Passport. Y estamos aquí con Regina Hill, la reciente comisionada del Distrito 5, que es una candidata en este momento. Hello everybody, we are here. We have the pleasure to have Regina Hill, the recent commissioner of District 5 and a candidate for this recent elections, the local elections. I have a few questions I'd like to ask you. The first one would be, describe el Distrito 5, lo que significa para ti y lo que está pasando en estos momentos. Please describe District 5, what it means to you, and what's going on in current events at the moment.
Yes, the way that I would describe our District 5 is the tales of two cities. The reason I call it the tales of two cities is that we have the economic engine, which is downtown Orlando, the central business district, and then it expands out through Paramore, Mercy Drive, Orange Center, Ivy Lane, portions of Pine Hills, and out all the way out to Metro West. And so there's pockets of low income, working class families, and then those that are affluent. We have the high rises downtown, and it means District 5 is a melting pot. Many people think that District 5 is only African American, but we have Asian, we have Hispanic, we have blacks, we have whites. It's this I call it and we have a large presence of LGBTQ also that now has resided in some of our communities and purchased homes. So I grew up in District 5 from a little girl of 8 years old. So I'm connected. I am District 5 when you start talking about it. I am a proud product of District 5. And so it's more than a seat to me. It's my life. I feel like God has placed me there to serve the people from which I've came from.
Perfecto. Me encantó como lo describiste y como lo dijiste. Perfect. I love the way you described it, the way you said it. Obviously, I know you're in the middle of campaigning, and I appreciate your time, but I have another question I'd like to ask. Like, how do you plan to attract substantial high-wage jobs to the district, not just service or tourism industry positions? Let me translate para todos mis latinos que están aquí en Orlando. ¿Cómo piensa atraer más trabajos buenos, que no solamente son de servicio o del turismo, para tu distrito?
Oh, thank you for asking that. Through my leadership, we have attracted many high-wage jobs there in the city of Orlando. We have the EA Sports that have brought in over 700 high-wage jobs. Town in travel is now coming to Paramore. They're building out the space right now. That's another 600 jobs. And they're all high-wage jobs. Now, my plan to continue that type of momentum is to continue to give these folks, when they come into District 5, incentives for every high-wage job that they bring, that there's a tax break for them. And so we all know people that have major corporations and businesses love tax breaks. And so that's how I will continue to give those incentives. But I want to go a step further with those. I'm asking, with those dollars that we give tax breaks, that they create an internship program so that other youth could now have access and opportunities, so they'll know what their tomorrow is when they go there. And that's something that we haven't done that I want to see move forward.
Sí, el futuro es bien importante, punto, siempre. The future is always important,
Yeah.
period. But another question, from your perspective, de como tú piensas, ¿cuál es el problema más grave que está pasando en el Distrito 5 y cómo tú planeas arreglarlo si te electan? What do you see as the most urgent issue facing District 5, and how do you plan to address it within your first few years in term again?
Absolutely. I think the most urgent thing facing District 5 is affordable housing. And affordable housing is a must, and also homelessness. We've put millions and millions towards homelessness. And there's $56 million we received for affordable housing through the American Rescue Plan. And now it's called Orlando Unlock, is to continue to build on city-owned properties or help developers with funding to slot out that affordability. Now, I will say this, that homelessness won't be solved overnight. We've been at this for, I know, 15 years. But to create more more vocational opportunities. I think the greatest social program is a job. And put some preventative measures in place to avoid homelessness. Now, that's what I think is needed for those that might be a month behind on their rent, that we put some type of program in place to help them for a month or two to get back stable with their landlords, so that children and women and families don't have to be put on the streets of Orlando and become homeless. We've given quite a few, like I said, monies towards homelessness, but nobody's have addressed prevention so that people don't end up homeless.
Yo veo la pasión que tú tienes con estas políticas, ¿verdad? So, yo personalmente tengo una pregunta. ¿Qué fue lo que te dio el interés para entrar y competir en estas políticas locales y hacer una diferencia? I see the passion, the way you talk, and I have my own personal question. I kind of want to know what sparked you to be involved in local politics at all.
You know, it's funny that you asked that question, because I never planned on running for office. I was a nurse of 25 years, caring for people. It was park bench. Sounds simple, right? So I had sat on several boards in the county and had always, been a servant in a sense, speaking up for others in the community, but I had no plans in the politics. As I stated, I grew up in Paramore, never having my own bedroom, never having AC until I became an adult. So I understood some of the trials and tribulations of that Paramore area. And I was on my way to give flu vaccines one day in November. And I decided I was going to stop by my childhood park, because I lived in the county. I hadn't really been over to the area in a while. And when I got ready to get out of my truck to do my nurse's notes before I go give the flu vaccines, I couldn't find a bench to sit on. All the benches had been removed. All the tables had been removed. And I knew that the average medium income over there was less than probably $14,000 a year. So it was the working poor, right? And I knew that birthdays used to be held there because they couldn't afford event spaces. They would have their repasses there, and other occasions where they can come in the park for free and have other celebrations. And I looked over, I was a basketball player. I learned basketball skills there in that park. And I saw some little boys sitting on the ground waiting for Knicks. And I walked around the park and I still didn't see any benches or chairs or tables anywhere. So I went inside the building and I asked the building manager, where are the tables and benches in this park? He couldn't give me any answer. So I went to City Hall, because absolutely I thought, this is some racist crap here. They got benches and tables in every other park in the city of Orlando. Why not in this black neighborhood for those that somewhat destitute? So when I got to City Hall, my questions were still unanswered. Went to the commissioner at that time. She wouldn't respond to my emails or my telephone calls. Went back to City Hall, my fourth time going back. Of course, I went back this time not as the professional nurse. I went back as Gina from the block. And I start raising pretty hell about why my people, because this is my neighborhood park. I took ownership in it. This is the park where I went and got free lunch during the summers. After school was my park for as a latchkey kid because my mother had three jobs. And so when I got there, they said, listen, go over to Primrose. That's where the city recreation administration office is. And I got there and I spoke with the gentleman, and he said, ma'am, the commissioner had those tables and benches removed, and there's nothing we can do unless the commissioner, a black lady, tell us to put us down. I said, oh, that's not racist. I said, so tell me, what's going on? They said, well, there were people that was homeless doing unspeakable things in the park on those benches and chairs, so she had them removed. I said, well, that's not a way to deal with homelessness, is to deny a whole community. I said, so what are you guys going to do? He said, there's nothing I can do, ma'am, unless the commissioner. I said, well, how, what can I do? He said, well, if you want to put it back, you need to run for commissioner. I said, okay. And so I packed up my house, put everything in storage, and moved to the district. I need to stay there for a year. Was there for a year, and I ran for commissioner, and I won. First thing I did was put, benches and tables back in that park, and had a big celebration for the community and the homeless, all right, and put some policies in place so that that wouldn't be an issue, and the rest is history. I have rebuilt that whole community along with other communities since. So it wasn't about power, it was for purpose.
Después de esa contestación, bueno, se me hace difícil preguntar otra cosa. After that answer, it's kind of difficult to ask another question. But I wanted to say it was a privilege to have you here at Cap Village with us for this press conference. Fue un privilegio tenerte aquí en Cap Village para la conferencia de prensa. And we're here. We're following you. And like you said, you will be elected, right?
November
Regina
the 4th.
Hill.
The work continues. Promises made, promises kept.
She said she's back.